Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Quantum Leap morning market analysis and trade plan setup for Tuesday, September 17th, 2013. I want to welcome any guests to the room. My name's Doug McKay. I'm the moderator of Quantum Leap. We are a private chat group on Skype. If you're interested in coming in and checking out the Skype room, just open up a Skype account. It'll take you a minute, and then send me a contact request at Doug_McKay. Of course, you can always email me to get more information at dm@m4connects.com, or call me direct, or just send me your phone number and I'll call you. Let's get started. We need to get the disclaimer out of the way. This information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge of the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether futures or options are appropriate to your financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more than the initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades you see in the room are for education purposes only. Please trade your own plan and do your own due diligence. With that said, if you're watching this video coming in after the fact, each morning we come together and we do our homework and our market analysis. We do start with the very basics and go through the numbers, get them fresh in our mind, and create the routine of getting prepared to trade. So if you're watching the video after the market, then you might want to skip ahead to more of the in-depth analysis. But let's get started. Our year high on the September contract is still 1705. We hit 1703.75 on the December contract. So we have, both the contract highs really close to each other. I still think that 1705 is weak and could be tested again. Of course, we're nowhere near the start of the year or the low of the year. We're still trading up at all-time highs. Our month opened to 1614.25. We have that high at 1703.75. Our month low is 1630.75. Previous month opened 1685.50. Our all-time high at 1705. Our previous month low 1624.75, and we closed at 1632.25. Our week opened at 1693. We have that new high in the adjusted contract, all-time high at 1703.75. Our week low is 1688. Previous week we opened at 1652, had the high at 1684, a low of 52, and closed at 82.75. And we're currently trading above all of those numbers. I'm not going to go do anything on the quarterlies because they didn't change. Our Globex opened yesterday, excuse me, 1693. We put the high in there at 1703.75 on the Sunday night open. Our Globex low 1692, and we opened the RTH session at 1699.50. We had an open rejection reverse. We opened out of range, way out of range, but we went right up and tested that 1700, failed off the 1700, and the seller took control and brought us down all the way down to that 90, 91 area. So definitely an open rejection reverse. Our day type, we broke the IB to one side for normal variation. We did it outside of the pocket. Our opening swing, 1750. Our opening swing low, 1695.75 for a 4 3/4 point opening swing. Our initial balance high, 1750. Our initial balance low, 1691.75. And we had an initial balance range of 8 3/4, so just within the normal range. Our 1230 number was higher again. All numbers in the room are in Central Time, so we do have a trending 1230 number. Our RTH was higher at 1750. Our RTH low was higher at 1688, and we closed at 1691.25, and our VPOC was higher at 1695.25. The green or yellow, it denotes that we're trending up, and the red is trending down. Our RTH range 12.5 for yesterday. Our full session 15 3/4, and our Globex 11 3/4. full session high put in the Globex 1703.75 right off the Sunday night open. Our full session low at 1688 was put in the RTH. Our RTH 20-day range, 1340, that's tightening up a bit. Our full session 20-day on full session 20-day ATR 16 3/4, and then the Globex is just over 9.5. Our Globex open last night was 1689. European cash close, the 10:30 number yesterday morning was 1696 1/4. Our value area high was 1697.75. Our value area low 1690.75. And again, these are higher values and a 7-point range for the value area. We broke the IB to the low side outside of the pocket. Again, lately we've been having these late breaks on the IB. The average time, or what we call the pocket, is between the 9:30 and the 9:45 time frame to break the IB high or the IB low. Our extended session high 1692.25, extended session low 1689, and we had settlement close at 1689 1/4 for a 3 1/4 point extended session. Actually, a pretty large extended session. The 20-day ATR on it is only 1.5, so we basically had over 2 times the range for extended session. And then we had higher than normal volume at 1.6 and 2.0. Going over to the daily report. This is the daily report that eventually spits out our Quantum Leap QLTP. This is basically a ladder above the previous day and then a ladder below the previous day close, with all the levels that we look at based on the multiple methodologies. But the daily report is what pulls it all together. And we look at the the Pearson pivots. Our pivot for today, 1693.67. That's right near the key LVN of the double distribution at 1693.50. Resistance 1 is going to be 1699. Support 1 is going to be 1683.50 on the daily. And then nothing really changes in the CHVNs, the composite high volume, composite low volume, basically stays the same. Same with the microcomposite. The key LVN, as I just mentioned, is right there at the pivot, daily pivot at 1693.50. Naked microcomposite VPOX still have the one down at 1675. Another one down there at 1647. We'll take a look at these on the charts. Going over to the naked crosses, we don't have a lot of naked crosses. There was only 2 new ones put in last night at 1658 or yesterday, 1658 and 1696.50, and we took out the 1688 one. A naked cross is where the 9 EMA crosses over the 20 SMA and price action moves definitively away from it and leaves it unauctioned or naked, and the market has a high probability of going back down there and testing it. It's a study I've been running for several years now, and it's very accurate. Our naked VPOX, we took out the 1696 and we added a new one at 1695 1/4. News, we had Canadian manufacturing and core CPI. Really didn't create a little bit of a pop, but not much. We have long-term purchases and housing market index at 8 and 9. So not real big news. The big news is going to be tomorrow. Of course, we've got building permits and housing starts, and then we've got the FOMC, and then we've got Bernanke's press conference. So I think we're going to have a pretty tight market today as we wait to go into the Fed. Next thing we like to do is go through the macro to micro view. So we start with the monthly. You can see that monthly trend is very much intact. The 9 EMA and the 20 SMA have good slope and separation, and prices paralleling the 9 quite nicely, and we're trading in right near the all-time highs. So the monthly trend is very much intact. We've got the weekly. We've got that possible head and shoulder pattern. Of course, we're right very close to violating it by breaking that 1705. Got a little bit of a island top. But island tops are pretty rare. But we've only closed below the 20 SMA on the weekly once all year, and that was 3 weeks ago. And we've got slope and separation. So the trend is very strong still on the weekly. Going over to the daily, you can see we've got this little island top with the gap up on Sunday. We've got a technical gap against the 9 EMA. We do have good slope and separation. We do have a naked cross. This is a good example of a daily naked cross where the 9 crossed over the 20 and price action moved away and left that area unauctioned, and that is 1653 area, 1653 and a quarter. So that is a probable target below for me. We did close this technical gap just before the gap up. We moved away from the 9, created this little tech gap, came down, closed it out, and then Sunday night we gapped up, and we're currently trading above. So overall, the trend is still intact, but we have some signs of weakness as possible reversals. Going over to the geometric chart, this is the long-term upward fork that we've been following for quite some time now. Then when we hit that 1705 and started trending down, we put a counter downward sloping fork. And then when we came back up and when we broke out of the longer-term upward sloping fork, I added this modified shift fork a couple weeks ago, and it had created this energy point in around the 1679, 1678 area, which was our target above. We went out and took it out, and now we're trading. We tried to get back inside of the lower line of the long-term upward sloping fork, but we've rejected so far. But we are holding the center line so far on the modified shift chart. Above us, the first area of test, if we do get this blow off top, was going to be in the 1740 area. So we'd be testing 1740 to 1750 area to test the upward line of the modified shift fork. Of course, we've got a energy point between the long-term upward sloping forks up here at 1780 area, 1778 area. And of course, if we do get back inside the upward sloping fork and go up and test the the upper line, that should take us into the 1800s. But that's a long ways off still. This is my 1740 and 1780 are my two blow off top areas up here if we get it. But if we have failure, we have an energy point down here on the downward sloping fork, and that is right in around that 1653. And again, that 1653 also is where we have the naked cross right here on the daily. So that's my main target below. And there's also a CHVN on the long-term chart, or on the composite chart. Taking a look at the intraday and see where we are on the intraday trends. 4 hour, we had gapped up. We came down, closed the gap on both the 9 and the 20. We're currently, going sideways and consolidating. We came down and tested the 20 SMA on the 4 hour several times, but we've popped back up and we're now trading above the 9. But we don't have any slope. We do have some separation, so really indecision on the 4 hour chart. Going down to the 30-minute. Well, we started to create this trend down on the 30-minute, and then we went sideways and consolidated overnight. And now we're getting back above the 9 and the 20, and we're getting a little bit of slope, a little bit of separation, and it looks like we're starting a bit of an uptrend, but non-conclusive so far. Going over to the composite chart. Well, our target, above was this 1695 and a quarter. This was where they tried to hold value after they made the all-time adjusted highs. The 1705 on the adjustment is 1698.50. We came up here and blew through it and made that 1703.75 high. We came back down yesterday and we tried to hold value around 95. We couldn't. We came down into this 92 area, tested the 91.75, bounced off of it, and then came back down and fell through the 91.75, came down, didn't quite get to our ATR target, and the other CLVN, the ATR target on the full session yesterday was 87.50, and on the RTH session was 87. We got down as low as 88, so we missed the ATR target by 2 ticks, and then we came up and we closed in around this 91.90 area. Currently, we're above the 91.75 and trading in around this minor CHVN at 92.50. The key areas you want to watch here, obviously, target above is the 95.25. It's our our VPOC and our microcomposite VPOC on the upper distribution of the double distribution day. We'll take a look at that intraday chart. The value area high of the smaller microcomposite, where we tried to hold the value up here, is at 97.25. Of course, you got to watch that 98.50 again, and then above that you've got the 1703.75, which is the adjusted all-time high, and then the 1750. Yesterday's RTH high was 1750. The 1703.75 was put in on Sunday night's Globex. Numbers below, well, 91 obviously is going to be key for us, and holding in this upper distribution. If we get below that, I would look for a move down to the value area low of that microcomposite at 89.75, and then you've got the 87.50, which is the key line in the sand. If we get below 87.50, then you've got to look at coming back into this larger value area, of the larger microcomposite that runs from 718 through to 814. And its value area high was 1685.75. The smaller microcomposite that I drew here, where we were holding value just before we fell out and went down into this distribution zone down here, the value area for that is 84.75. And then this, since we've come up and tried to hold value in around this microcomposite VPOC at 1680.25, you've got 84.75, and then the 83.25 is the high of this. So this whole area between 83.25 and 85.75 is my big target below my immediate target below, if we get below that 87.50. If we get inside of the 83.25, well, the big number obviously is the current naked microcomposite VPOC at 1675. And again, we looked at this as we came up, and we popped up on this gap out. So we gapped out of this balance down here, and we came up. The first level they tried to hold is 75. Then they tried to break out, still had fair value at 75. Still had 75, but if you start taking the days out, as they got through here, value jumped up to that 78.75. And then it jumped up just before we gapped on Sunday up to 80.50. So we have those three areas of these three CHVNs at 80.50, 78.50, and 75, which is, to me, still undetermined fair value, but the most traded overall is still that 75. And the value area high for here is 79 and 71. So the big target below, if we do get some extension and we can't hold value up here and we get inside of this area, is 75. And then once we're down here, I still think we've got some undetermined fair value, and we'll see some chop around here between those three areas at 80.25, 78.50, and 75. With the other key line in the sand, the 71 area, 71.50 is the value area low, and then the big CLVN below is at 65.75. Below that, you bring in the 73.75. That was at 1670 50 or 1670 quarter number before the adjusted contract. The microcomposite VPOC from what launched this whole move up to make the new high, it's now adjusted down to that 1663.75 on the December contract. All right, let's take a look at our overnight. Overnight was very balanced, very tight range. Our current overnight high is 93.25, so just one tick below the key LVN from yesterday at 93.50. And again, we might get some expansion even before the open. The overnight low, and I've got a bad tick coming in here, but the overnight low is 87.75, which is just below our range low from yesterday at 88. And then currently the V pocket, I doubt it's going to change because we had so much balance, was 89.25. So we can get rid of this chart and compare it to where we are on this chart. So you've got the 91.75, which was our initial balance low in that key CLVN. We're trading just above it right now. The gap close, we're going to have a little bit of a gap if we stay above here. The close was 91.25. The key area is the the CLVN of the LVN of the double distribution between the 95.25 CHVN and the 90.25. You can even say it's a good fight between 90.75 is going to be this 93.50, and this is going to be my main trade area. Try to catch a trade off of that. If we come up and break through, I'm going to get long with the target being 95.25. This shouldn't be here. That's from yesterday. And then a move up to test the value area high at 97.75, and then the LVN at 98.75, and that 98.50, which was the other high, is going to be my other trade area. So I'll be looking for sellers to step in here and put us back into value. But if we break through, I'll be looking to if I'm in a trade, add to this and go for the takeout of the overnight high. I'm sorry, the range high from yesterday at 1750 will be outside of value at that point in time, and the big target above is going to be the 93.75, which is the adjusted all-time high with the 1705 just above it. If we hold below the 93.50, then I'm looking for the gap close down here. We're already down here. I really can't try to take a trade in here because I think it's going to be rather choppy. The value area low is 90.50. And then the overnight low is 87.75. I'll probably try to do a trade off of this 91.75 area, but it all depends on the context as we come down here. So I'm not going to mark it as a trade area. Where I will get into a trade is down here at the 87.50. I'll be looking for them to break through and make the move down towards that 85, 83 area. But if they find buyers in there, I'll try to get long as they come back in, take out the overnight low, and then come back into yesterday's range. So those are my main trade areas. Now, big target below, of course, is that 83, 8 to 85. We've took this naked cross out already. We have a naked cross at 1696.50. And we have a naked cross at 1658. I don't think that's really going to come into play right now. We've got a naked VPOC down here at 1680.50 and a was that a range? Now a range high and naked close at 82.25, which was Friday's close, and then the gap up on Sunday. If we take a quick look at where we are in the Renko, I've got bad data, so I got to do a data download. I'll do that when we come back. Let's just take a quick look at gold. Gold yesterday, our target, in the morning session was down here at 1309. We came down as low as 1307.50. We're currently finding balance, in this smaller microcomposite at 1430. The microcomposite from this distribution area right here of the double distribution is is at 1309. Value area high is 2060. Value area low is 1308.80. We've got this. We were using this 1317 area, as a dividing line for a break to come down to this 1309. The one we want to watch now is this 1299.70, really 1300. It's such a psychological number, and the big target still remains down here at 1284.90 below. If we can get get back above this 1320, then the target above is up here at CHVN at 1330.30 with the former microcomposite just before we launched higher at 1328.80. I don't think we're going to see much more. If we do, the first number you want to watch is that 1340.40, and then the other side of balance obviously is that 1349.70 or 1350 area. Above that, then the target we were watching last week was 1366.30, and the big target above is back up into that 1386, 1388 area, which is the microcomposite VPOX, the 88 from that big distribution zone, and then the 86 as we tried to hold that that value before we fell out of value. So that's everything I've got. I'll do a download, and then we'll just take a quick look at the Keltner. In the meantime, we'll go over to Howard, and he can take us through the Fib and Elliott wave count.
Thank you, Doug. So looking at yesterday's daily chart.
We're not seeing your chart. We're not seeing your chart yet.
You're not?
Nope. At least I'm not.
Well, I accepted to show my screen.
Mike, do you see it? Yeah, we're not seeing your screen. Let me change presenter back to me for a second, then we'll come back to you.
You see it now?
Nope. Oh, now we do. Okay, you're good to go.
Okay. Okay, so since we made our bottom here at 1624.75, we've had a rally up, and we made a gap up from the well, this is toss. The toss did its roll over here, so that's why we had this little bit of a gap down, and then Sunday night we had a major gap up and came close to our high of the year. Got as high as 1703.75, and then through most of yesterday we had some weakness. We ended up forming a shooting star for yesterday. So that's generally a bearish pattern, especially after a long rally. So today will be key as far as how we respond to that. If we continue lower, we'll be confirming that shooting star. So it possibly is the topping symbol, but signal, but we'll let today and the next day or two play out to see if it actually holds. Take a quick peek at the weekly. We can see just one day into the week, we're starting to form a shooting star, but way too early to make any conclusions off of that. So let's go to our market breadth. Even though we had a down day, well, we had a gap up and then a down RTH session. And we see that the advanced decline and up-down volume actually had more strength. So where we had this little dip here that turned out not to be the top in these indicators, we made a new high in both. Well, actually a new high in the advanced declines and maybe just a slight, well, the NYSE made us a new high. NASDAQ did not. So we're still showing good strength in terms of advanced declines and up-down volume. So looking at the sectors. Looks like with the exception of two sectors, everything was up. We have energy here as being flat, and also technology being flat, probably a large part of that being Apple, which has been very weak the last few days. But other than that, all the other sectors are showing additional strength. So looking at the transport versus industrials, both of them are looking stronger. Transport's a little stronger than the industrials, but not a lot, but still has a significant gap above, which it has had all year. So get some conflicting signals. We have a shooting star, which indicates potential bearish signal. We're getting strength in the advanced decline, up-down volume, and the sectors are showing strength as well. So these next couple of sessions will help sort out which signal is going to prevail. So that's pretty much what I see. I'll turn it back over to you, Doug. About 12 minutes to open.
Thanks, Howard. So just to, we're trading right above that 91.75, so it's going to be hard to take a trade off the open right there. My main hypothesis, is we'll come down and close out the gap. See if they find some buyers in the 90.75, 90.50 area, and then go up and test this 93.75. Get through it and go up and take out 95.25, and then while they're doing that, taking out the overnight high. It's pretty tight range, so it's anyone's guess in this area right here, so just be patient on the open. Right now, the center line, Keltner, is 89.75.
Yeah, we're not seeing your chart, John.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. We're just going to be opening in the lower distribution here, just above this 91.75 IB low from yesterday, and then we've got the gap closed just below that. So I think we're going to somewhat choppy on the open. It's a tight range, so the overnight low, overnight high probability could go either way still. The center line is 89.75. So, if we're still above it right now, the Keltner channel high is 96.25. That leads us to believe that we'll take out the overnight high, get above the LVN at 93.50 and take out the naked VPOC, and we've got that naked cross here with the value area high up at 97.75. So that's going to come and play well. We're above the Keltner center line. Below the Keltner, the low line on the Keltner is 83.50, and that brings me to the other hypothesis of coming down, taking out the overnight low, and then breaking through that 80. This should be 87.50. And going down and testing that 83 to 85 area, which are the key areas on the larger term contract. So that's where we're at. We've got 10 minutes to the open. I'm going to close this room down and then open it up for level 2 in just a minute. Again, if you want to come in and check out the room or find out more about Quantum Leap, contact me through Skype at Doug_McKay. I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, or email me at dm@m4connects.com, or even just give me a direct call on my line, and just do that after hours, please. All right, as always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.